Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 7 of Dyson Sphere Program. Today, the plan is to progress a little bit. There's a few bits of automation I want to set up, but I do want to tweak one thing that we did last episode. One thing I set up last episode, I think I did a little bit inefficiently. Let's take a look at that. That would be my motor design here. So if we take a look at our electric motors, let's figure out how we can math up what the usage of resources is so that we can define quickly how to efficiently build these structures. So let's take a look. How quickly are we building these motors? 22.5 motors per minute. So if we double that for convenience sake, because we've got two of them going, that's 45 per minute, right? So we're making 45 electric motors per minute if both of these are running, obviously. Now, if we were to take a look at our gears over here, and we remove some gears, we'll notice this gear machine by himself is making 45 per minute. And each electric motor needs one gear, right? So if we math this up, we can say that if it needs one gear to make an electric motor, and we're making 22.5 of these per minute, we're using 22.5 gears per minute per motor maker, right? But since we have two, we're using 45 per minute, okay? And if we look at this guy, he's making 45 per minute. So realistically, one gear maker should have no problem feeding two motor makers. So we don't need two gear makers. And guess what? Same deal for the electromagnetic doohickeys, these guys, magnetic coils. We only need one of these. Now, iron bars, we need two. So that means we need 45 iron bars per minute per electric motor maker, right? Because it's 22.5 electric motors per minute, but we need 2 iron bars per electric motor, so that's going to be 45 per minute. So in total, we need 90 iron bars per minute to satisfy these two. But in terms of gears and magnetic coils, we only need 45 per minute to satisfy the 2 motor makers. And guess what? This guy also makes 45 per minute. How cool is that? So what are we going to do? You can probably guess. What we're going to do is get rid of a couple of these things. So what I'd like to do is change you to be a gear. So I'm just going to kind of just, rearrange everything here to save up on space a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. And that should be fine. So let's, real quick, copy you. And, well, you know what? I'm just going to pop down and do one of these. So I'm going to want one gear maker, one electric coil maker, and then 2 motor makers. Okay? So gear, let's make you electric coils just because that's how I had it before. Electric coils were first. And you can be gear, and you can be motor, and you can be motor. So this is going to be a little bit more compact. Could I have left it the way I had it before? Yes. Was it a waste of resources before? Also yes. So, try and be efficient. Try and think about what you might need to keep things going, right? So you should be cooking now. You should be cooking now. And we're going to want you. Well, realistically, we only need you guys. And then you. Cool. Make sure your belts are going the right way. Maybe I want this one to go something like that. So this should have no problem keeping up. Cool. So you guys should have no problem satisfying the needs of this thing. So everybody's happy. We're backstuffing nicely. Pay attention to the amounts of objects being created per minute, because that will absolutely help you build more efficiently. Got it? Cool. So now that that's more efficiently constructed, let's automate a few things that we're going to want for today. So last episode, I think we got into making tier 2 belts, which are great. But in order to make those, we're going to need some electromagnetic turbines. So let's figure out how to make those in a, relatively speaking, efficient manner. Now, luckily, electromagnetic turbines are not too bad to make. They kind of already are using the things that we wanted to make. Or already making. So if we jump in here, we can check this out. Now, will this tell me on the mouse over? It takes 2 seconds to make one of these. And you can tell on the mouse over here, it also takes 2 seconds to make one of these. Okay, cool. I'm guessing that's what that means. Yes, so these guys will make at the same speed these do. Now, if you're saying, wait a second, Dyer, why don't you make 22.5 per minute? If it takes 2 seconds to make one, shouldn't you be making 30 per minute? And yes, that is true. If the Mark 1 assemblers ran at full speed, but they don't. Their production speed is 0.75. Mark 1 assemblers are a little slow. When we get to Mark 2 and Mark 3 assemblers, they will go faster. So because this only runs at a production speed of 0.75, that's why we get 22.5 a minute instead of 30 per minute. So let's go ahead and do that. So the other thing we're going to note here is it needs 2 motors in order to make the electromagnetic turbine. So let's do some quick math on that. It means that we really can only supply 1 assembly machine from the 2 motor makers that we have, right? Because it needs 2 motors. It's also going to need 2 electromagnetic coils. So that means that we're going to need another set of these dudes, right? So let's be prepared for that eventuality. What I'm going to do is probably run this a little bit longer. So that we can be prepared for the future where we might want to make more of these dudes. So there's a few ways we can handle this, obviously, and we will probably change our designs a few more times as life goes on. But what I'm going to do is basically copy this dude right here. So I want to have enough room to build, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's actually just plan this out like so. Let's say I want to double this setup, right? So that would be 4. Just in case I want to double it in the future, let's be prepared for that. And I should really get around to automating my belts at some point so that I don't run into that problem no more either. But we'll get there, right? So now let's copy this guy. And then we'll copy this guy. And we don't actually want those to exist, so we're going to get rid of them. Okay. Look at that. So we're going to bring our motors down here to this thing. And you're going to make electromagnetic turbines for me. This looks like a good time. So this guy's making 45 per minute, and this guy's gonna need 45 per minute. So that's kind of a perfect little match there. And let's see. Because you're making 22.5 per minute, but remember you need 2 of each. So we need 45 per minute to keep this thing running happily. And these guys are each combined making 45 per minute. So we're making exactly as many motors as we need to satisfy this need, right? So this should be pretty much breaking even. What we should find here is we're making exactly enough, and that should be good. Okay. How about that? Look cool? And now we've got those automated. And everything should be happy. Notice how, like, the exact same location is where these guys are winding up at, right? That's because we're breaking even on production. We're making exactly as many as we need. Now, eventually, this chest will back stuff, this machine will back stuff, and then this line will back stuff, but that's going to take a moment or two, right? Pretty cool. As long as everything's running at full speed, which they should be, we should be fine. Perfect. Now, how's my inventory looking? Got, yeah, not bad. Not bad. I don't think I need much more of these magnetic coil dudes. I don't think I really need to carry those around. I forget if there's a need for these in my inventory, so I'm just going to get rid of them. Just to make life a little bit easier for me. And I can snag some more gears at this point. And fuel's doing pretty good for now. Look at that. Nice. Nice. So I'm just kind of... This spacing here was to plan for another batch of these if we decide we need more motors at some point. We might. We legitimately might decide that. Cool. All right, let's see. What else should we automate today? One thing I did want to automate quickly and be prepared to make was the stuff to make these guys. I wouldn't mind plasma exciters to be automated. So for plasma exciters, we're going to need prisms, which I think are just glass, and electromagnetic coils. Cool. So I'm debating how I want to handle that, because glass is being produced way down here. Electromagnetic coils are being produced way up here. I'm trying to remember if I need a lot of those right now. I think the only thing that they're used for me at this moment, the only thing that they're used for, let's see, I need them for oil extractors, I need them for wireless power, and I need them for oil refineries. So I need them a bit, but not a ton at this moment. So I may or may not hold off on automating those. It might not be a terrible idea to get them automated. What I would like to automate is the tier 2 belts. Would that be a terrible plan? Because that sounds like fun. That kind of sounds like fun. And I'm debating right now if I want to... what I might want to do is tweak some of this design, but we'll see. So I'm thinking about how I want to progress, because getting access to certain things will definitely make my life a little bit easier. So there's a few things I'd like to look into. First off, I think I want to get crystal smelting. That might be cool. That gets me access to diamonds, and it also gets me access to crystal silicon. We've also got smelting purification, which gets me access to silicon ore. You'll notice that I can convert 10 stone, I've already got this one, into a single piece of silicon ore. Now, if we look at our planet view, we'll note that we don't have any silicon ore. It's actually an ore that's available to be mined from miners, but we don't have access to silicon ore on this planet. We're going to need to head out to some other planets at some point. Once I have access to figure out the planetary view here, that would be cool. Let's see, if I were to research that, is there an upgrade that lets me universe exploration? Yeah, I can knock that out. Able to view the vein reserves in the whole planetary system. Maybe we want to knock that out real quick, just to be able to see what else is available in the solar system. Now, we don't quite have the ability to launch and go off planet just yet. Is Drive Engine 2 gives me that? This will let me go around the planet at a higher speed. Yeah, that's warp drive. So I think this one's going to let me get off the planet. But there's lots of other things we're going to want to research before that point. But first off, let's just get this research under control to see what we can see. And believe it or not, while I was sitting here, I noticed we're actually still not producing enough power. Power is going to be a problem pretty soon, so we really want to look at power generation. There's a few things I think we can do. We could probably use this stuff for fuel, I want to say. I want to say this oil, or no, not that, this fluid here, this storage, this thing can be used for fuel, I think. I think we can literally just dump this directly into a thing for power. That might be an option. But hey, Universe Exploration Level 2 finished. We can now look at the resources on other planets. How cool is that? So if we were to look at A-Crab 2 here, we'll find that it has titanium, but no silicon. That's a bummer. How about A-Crab 1? What we lined up with? A little bit of silicon. here on A-Crab 1. We can't quite see the details of the planet just yet, but there's a ton of copper and iron there, and a little bit of silicon, more than 0, and a bunch of titanium. That one's further away from our current location. A-Crab 2 is a little bit closer, and it has titanium also. You'll also note that this guy has some pretty good wind and solar. Wind's actually pretty high on this planet. So if we were going to set up a little outpost over here, wind power might not be a bad idea. And this guy has a decent amount of solar energy available to it, so we would probably want to put solar panels on this guy. Not bad. And how do we wind up on our ice giant here? Oh, good. We've got fire ice. Nice. That's good news, actually. That's not bad at all, as a matter of fact. And hydrogen. Okay, cool. Looking good. Hey, sun's coming up. Beautiful. I like when I can see what I'm doing. So what should we do for power here? Should we just expand this little bit? Or are we in kind of a... I mean, we could probably expand this some. So if I were to copy this... and just connect these guys manually. And then we should go ahead and make 4 more of those bad boys. That looks cool. Alright, not too shabby. This will just get our power up and running a little bit better. We should really look into solar panels. That might be the right way to go, too. Alright, power is much happier again, which is cool. I'm sure we backstuffed some resources as well, which also never hurts. So solar panels looks like a good time, but note for solar panels, we're going to need silicon. So let's activate this research and real quick look at getting the inefficient way of producing silicon. And this is a nice little spoiler for what's coming on along in the game in the future. Basically, you can produce most things on your main planet here, but some of them are going to take a really long time to get. I actually don't know if there's a way to get titanium off of our base planet. But that said, there's definitely... You know what? I might want to relocate this dude a little bit. Let's put him here. I don't have any of these. Let's put him here. Cool. That should be pretty good. Hooray! Solar panels complete. Nice.
The data shows this is a planet without natural silicone veins. However, you can still obtain some by smelting stone ore. While you still need a massive silicone collection, you need to find a planet rich with silicone veins as soon as possible.
I agree. We just did that,
Now,
by the way.
You can try to view the whole planetary system, and even the entire cluster, by clicking the star map button in the lower left corner of the screen.
What's cool is if you click on the star itself, it'll tell you the total resources in the entire system. Which is going to be helpful later when we start going to other planets. But let's set up a quick, I believe it's the smelter, right? Is that right? For silicon ore, yes. So to get silicon ore, let's set up a quick bit of you. We're going to want... I'm probably going to want you to be upgraded. Let's upgrade you here real quick. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned this, but we did unlock Sorter Mark 3s, which are even faster than Mark 2s. But let's real quick, I think I could probably only get away with a Mark 1 here and be happy. But see how many resources we need to pipe into this dude? Yeah, we need a healthy amount of stone ore. It's 10 stone ore per. So let's... Actually, I don't think I need to do that. I think we can just do this. 4 should be enough, on account of that's how many I have. and I'll just kick off the crafting. I'm torn whether I want to have if I want to automate the production of these components or not. I personally like to have the raw materials on me and then craft them as I need them, but I can absolutely see the value in automating the production of sorters and belts so that you can just go grab them out of a chest when you need them. But the problem is, it's kind of a chicken and egg kind of problem, right? Like, if I'm out and about in the world and I want to, you know, throw down a few extra belts, I could probably just craft them by hand and be good. Whereas if I don't have the raw materials, I need to fly over to wherever they're being made and get them. So, and I don't think there's any way at this point to kind of get things to behave and to automatically fill your mech's inventory with resources, kind of like Factorio has the drones. I don't think that exists in this game yet. I'm hoping it's something they add, though. So you're making 6 silicon ore per minute. So I've got 24 of these. Is that cool? 6 silicon ore per minute. And if I were to say I want to smelt that, what's that recipe look like? High purity silicon? It needs 2 every, so it needs 1 a second, is that right? So 30 per minute, which means in order to satisfy your needs, we need to be producing 60 per minute to keep this guy running at all times. So maybe 1 more and that'll be half as good. That might not be a bad idea. So I'm going to make 1 more of these. Cool. So that'll be producing 30 per minute at the moment. Now, we're probably not mining stone fast enough to make that happen, but we'll find out. I'm assuming not. But then let's just do a little bit of this. A little bit of this. You're going to be high purity silicon. You're going to be a chest, because I only need them stored at the moment. How's that sound? So you should be good now. And you'll be producing high purity silicon for me, which I'm going to put into there. Perfect. And let's keep like 3-ish stacks. Now that's going to be using a ton of stone, which we may or may not have enough of. But I guess it looks like we're doing okay. It looks like we're doing okay on stone production at this point. Now, obviously, my glass and stone blocks are kind of back stuff, so... But that's cool. But we're obviously going to want a more efficient way of doing silicon, because very soon we're going to need a lot of silicon. And you'll discover pretty quickly that that's going to be easy once we can get off this planet. So I want to work towards something that I know is going to be super helpful for me. I'm going to unlock hydrogen fuel rod. That's going to require 400 red matrices. But this is, actually I've got a few of these in my inventory that I was given when I landed, and I've kind of never used them. But they're a huge amount of energy. In order to make it, I think, is that titanium? It might be titanium. I think that's titanium. Yeah, it's going to be titanium. Is there a way to get titanium on your initial planet? I want to say no. But we're going to get there soon enough. Because I wanted to make thrusters, and thrusters are going to be useful in a moment. In fact, I'm going to add thrusters to the queue here. We're going to need another 1,000 energy matrices, so good times. How are we doing on those, by the way? Not bad. We've got a good back stuff. I hope we have enough. Meh, we'll find out. I'll just come back when all this research is done. Yeah, so it looks like our red research cubes we're not producing enough hydrogen for, so I might want to consider doing that. Maybe, real quick while we're waiting for that, should we... I've got an idea on what I could do to make life a little... I want to get some of these dudes down to here so that I can combine them with the glass to automate that one thing that I was talking about earlier, which is these, right? Either that, or we need to get copper ore down here with our iron ore and make them manually down here. I would need to find... So I either have to bring copper ore down here. There's a little bit of copper right here. How about we do this? You ready? How about this? How about this for a plan? How about this for a plan? Could I have a splitter here? Collide with another object. Ooh. Well, that ain't so bad. So you'll run that kind of above that line. Bring it down here. Okay. And then we could set up a quickie little miner here. Hey, hydrogen fuel rod's done. Nice. Yeah, finish that, but I might not
this
want
is
that.
a planet without natural titanium veins.
I agree.
Perhaps you can get some by collecting gravel. If you need a massive titanium collection, you need to find a planet rich with titanium veins as soon as possible.
Yeah, so is there a sneaky way to make titanium? I think you can get it when you mine rocks. There's like a chance to get titanium. So I got a little silicon ore from that. It's like super, it's not the way you... Look, yeah, I did get some titanium. Look at that. Sweet. Cool. So we've got a little titanium, but not much. Not much, gentlemen and ladies. So what we'll want to do... Let's place... a little bit of fill in here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to do this way. Oh, maybe not actually. Let that stuff happen. We're going to do a couple of those. Smelt up our copper. We're going to want this stuff automated at some point anyway, so might as well kind of get it ready. Cool. So you're going to be copper production. Let's get from this angle. Hey, look at that. Perfect. Perfect. That was just very, very lucky on my part. So then what I might want to have is some of you making more of those electromagnetic doohickeys. And then we're going to run some belts this way for those electromagnetic doohickeys. Okay? So now we've got these dudes. Now let's make prisms, and we'll make these combined into the thing that we want. So if I were to get you, how many prisms per minute will you make? You're going to take 2 seconds to turn 3 glass into 2 prisms. So that's going to be pretty quick. 22.5 per minute. But you're making 2 at a time? So you're really making 45 per minute? Or am I reading this wrong? Because you're making 2. So I think it's 22.5 operations per minute, not items per minute. So you're really making 45 of these per minute. Okay. And if we wanted to take these prisms and throw them into a thing real quick that's temporary, you're going to make 22.5 of those. So technically, it means one of these can produce 2 sets of these at a time. So that seems doable, right? So then let's do this. Will you fit here? I'm thinking no. Not if I want this belt to go this way, right? Oh, no, you do. Oh, that's actually gorgeous. I love that. I love that, actually. So check this out. If I were to dump this on here, and these guys into here, and configure you to make these dudes, copy and paste, okay, and then these guys go into here, and then these guys do this, and then we have one of these dudes doing this, and only keep 2 stacks. Boom! Automated. Look at that. And this guy should be making 45 of these per minute, and these guys should be running at a pretty good pace. Now, I guess the question is, are you guys producing fast enough? So you're making a healthy amount. What I should probably do is get some higher speed. I think my speed's my problem. So let me snag these dudes. And let me make a handful of Mark III transporters. That should be good. We'll let our mecha make a bunch of that stuff that we want. So I think your problem is just not transferring fast enough. Like, look, it's stuck and it's waiting for that transfer to occur. So let's upgrade this dude and this dude. And they're going to be that much faster now. And that should keep everything running at a full tilt. So you're actually not getting prisms fast enough? Doesn't make sense to me. You should be. Because you're making 2 at a time, right? Maybe you'll back stuff on prisms? Maybe once this thing back stuffs on prisms will be better? Or do you need 2 prisms per? You need 2 prisms per. Oh. Oh. Well, there's your problem. Can this sneak in here? It can if I were to do that. Yeah, so I mathed it wrong because I didn't realize this needs 2 prisms per. So it's... yeah, it's 1 prism per plasma exciter. Producer, that is, right? So this makes 2 prisms every 22.5 minutes, or 22.5 sets of 2 prisms per minute. This needs 2 prisms every 20 for 20. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? Probably. I'm saying it poorly. Mouth not forming words good, but you get the gist. Cool? So that should be pretty good. And then you guys should happily... so you actually need 4 electromagnetic doohickeys per. Okay. But this is 22.5, and this is making 45? And you're making 2 at a time? So this is also 1-to-1 on these, if my math is correct on that. And they should happily be good. Technically, we don't even need the belts here. I could probably move these a little closer and just feed one of these into this. But, meh, it's fine. Everybody should be good now. Yeah, look, we're now kind of breaking even. Look, prisms are showing up just in time to fill this up. Hey, look whose research is complete. We got thrusters. What are those used for? Nothing I can make right now, but it will allow me to unlock planetary logistics pretty soon. We just require vertical construction level 1. So let's go upgrade our vertical construction level 1. That's going to be another bunch of red research cubes. We should amp up our hydrogen production so that we can get more red research cubes coming in more quickly. And then we should find something to do with our refined oil. So I'm working towards planetary logistics, which is going to make things very cool very quickly. However, I think we're also pretty much at the wrapping up point for the episode. So let's wrap up here. We've automated quite a good number of things today. We got these plasma exciters automated. We've got these awesome things automated. The electromagnetic turbines are going to be very useful for us in the future. So there's a few things that we've gotten that are going to be super cool to have, and we're going to be very thankful that we did it. Automating all these components is really just kind of awesome. It really just kind of is. But for now, it's ye old wrapping up point. So Darwell20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time and continue automating all the things in Dyson Sphere program. We're getting close-ish to the point where we can kind of launch off this here planet. That is not the button I meant to click, but I will remember that never. Control-click is sort, but if you're in another inventory, it does another thing. We also got ourselves a solar panel, which maybe we'll take a look at next episode as well. We can now make some solar panels, but just note they're going to require a healthy amount of high-purity silicon per solar panel. And while we are, yes, automatingly producing those, we are not actually producing enough. Well, actually, because I'm using a lot of stone now for glass, that's why we're running out of it over here. But that's okay. This whole thing here is a temporary setup. Once we can launch out into space and hit up other planets, we will have a lot easier access to silicon ore. Cool? For now, take it easy, guys.